All right, so today we're diving into something pretty cool.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to help you prepare for a leather goods production manager interview.
That's right.
And to make this deep dive even more awesome, we've got some killer resources from RoleCatcher. Their career guide and their interview guide are going to be like our secret weapons today.
Awesome. I love it.
So let's jump right in. First things first.
Okay.
Let's talk about what this role really entails.
You got it.
I mean, beyond the fancy title, what does a leather goods production manager actually do?
Well, it's so much more than just knowing about leather.
Right.
You're basically the maestro of the entire production orchestra.
Oops,
You know?
I like that analogy.
From the raw materials to the finished product,
Uh-huh.
you're making sure everything is running smoothly, quality is top-notch, and those deadlines, they're your best friend.
You mentioned deadlines, and I know from RoleCatcher's career guide that efficiency is key why in this role,
Absolutely.
especially
Yeah.
with all the new tech and automation popping up in the industry.
It's like a whole new world out there.
Speaking of tech, I've always been curious about how automation and robotics are actually used in leather goods manufacturing.
Oh, it's super interesting. Imagine automated cutting machines that can slice through leather with laser precision.
Wow.
Or robotic arm stitching seems faster and more accurately than any human ever could.
That's so cool. It sounds like it's really changing how things are made.
It definitely is, but you know what else is huge GE right now?
That's that.
Sustainability and ethical sourcing.
Makes sense. Consumers are getting more and more conscious about where their products come from.
Absolutely. So you need to be ready to talk about that in your interview.
So how do we make sure your passion for all of this shines through during the interview? I mean, you might be super qualified,
Right.
but you also want to show them you're genuinely excited about the world of leather goods.
Totally agree. And that's where RoleCatcher's interview guide is clutch.
Oh, yeah. How so?
They've got this awesome collection of sample questions that you'll likely encounter. And they even give you guidance on how to tackle them like a pro.
I'm ready. Let's hear some of those questions.
All right, let's fire away. First up, what motivated you to apply for the role of leather goods production manager?
Okay, classic question. But how do you answer it in a way that stands out?
Don't fall into the trap of giving some generic response.
Right.
Really dig deep and think about what truly excites you about this specific role,
Uh-huh.
and then connect the dots between your skills and experience and what makes you a perfect fit for what they need.
So maybe tell a story about a moment that sparked your interest in production management.
Exactly. Or a project you worked on that really showed off your passion and skills.
It's all about showing them you're not just there for a paycheck.
You got it.
Right.
They want to see that spark.
Love it. Okay, what's a potential follow-up question they might throw my way?
They might ask, can you give me a specific example of a time when your passion for production management led to a successful outcome?
Ooh. Okay, so have a story ready to go that really highlights that enthusiasm for the work.
You got it. Show them your passion in action.
All right, hit me with the next question.
Next up, we've got, how do you ensure that production targets are met on time and within budget?
This one's getting right to the heart of the job.
It is. They want to see that you understand the whole dance of production planning, budgeting, and execution.
So it's not enough to just say, oh, I'm organized and efficient.
Right.
You got to back it up with cold, hard evidence.
Exactly. Think back to a project where you had to juggle tight deadlines and a limited budget.
Uh-huh.
How did you map it all out? How did you keep things on track?
Oh, and I bet numbers would be helpful here.
You know it. Did you slash production costs by a certain percentage? Did you consistently deliver projects ahead of schedule?
Those are the kinds of details that make you shine.
Absolutely. Quantify your achievements. Let those numbers sing.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about when things go wrong?
Ah, yes. The
Yeah.
inevitable curveballs.
I bet they're going to ask about that.
You betcha. Something like, what do you do when unexpected problems arise that threaten to derail production? Can you give an example?
So they're basically testing your ability to think on your feet.
Exactly. This is your chance to showcase those problem-solving muscles and your ability to stay calm under pressure.
Think of a time when a project hit a major snag.
Uh-huh.
What steps did you take to get things back on track? Did you communicate effectively with your team?
That's what they want to hear. Show them you can handle the heat.
Yeah, give me another question.
All right, let's talk leadership. How do you motivate and manage a team of production workers?
Okay, so this is about your leadership style and how you create a positive and productive work environment.
Exactly. Are you a collaborator, a coach, a mentor?
You need to have some solid examples ready to go that illustrate your approach.
Absolutely. Think about specific situations where you had to rally your team to achieve a goal, or
Right.
maybe how you navigated a tricky conflict or helped your team adapt to a sudden change.
Paint them a picture of your leadership in action.
And don't be afraid to share how you've grown as a leader, too.
Oh, good point. Like, have you learned any valuable lessons from past experiences?
Exactly. Or are there areas where you're still striving to improve your leadership skills?
Showing that self-awareness and that commitment to growth is super important.
It shows you're always learning.
Okay, what's the next question?
All right, buckle up for this one. How do you ensure that production processes comply with safety and quality standards?
Safety and quality, the dynamic duo.
They're not just buzzwords. They want to know that you prioritize the well-being of your team and the quality of the final product.
This is where your knowledge of industry regulations really shines.
Absolutely. Be ready to discuss those specific safety protocols and quality control measures you've implemented in the past.
If you have any certifications related to safety or quality management, now's the time to flaunt them.
Definitely. And don't just rattle off a bunch of regulations.
Right.
Share examples of how you've actively championed a culture of safety and quality in your previous roles.
Like maybe you implemented a killer safety training program or developed a system for tracking quality metrics.
Bingo. It's all about showing them you walk the walk.
Okay, what's next?
Let's get logistical. How do you manage inventory levels to ensure timely delivery of orders?
The art of inventory management.
This question is all about showing off your understanding of the supply chain dance.
And finding that sweet spot between efficiency and meeting those production demands.
Precisely. Think back to how you've tackled inventory management in the past.
Right.
Did you implement any cool systems or technologies to track inventory levels or forecast demand?
Or maybe you have a story about how you streamlined the whole ordering and delivery process.
Those are the kinds of examples that really resonate.
I'm ready for a follow-up question. Give it to me.
They might throw something like this at you. How do you handle unexpected spikes in demand or supply chain disruptions? Can you give an example?
Ooh, those unexpected curveballs again.
They're inevitable, but they want to see that you can adapt and keep production flowing smoothly.
So it's all about being resourceful and proactive.
Absolutely. Think about a time when you had to think outside the box to overcome a supply chain hiccup.
Got it. All right, what's next?
Next up, how do you stay up to date with new technologies and trends in the leather goods industry?
Gotta stay ahead of the curve.
This industry is constantly evolving. You need to show them that you're committed to continuous learning.
So be ready to spill the beans on the publications, websites, podcasts, or industry events you follow.
Right. Do you attend any cool conferences or workshops? Are you a member of any professional organizations?
It's all about showing them you're actively seeking out new information and incorporating it into your work.
You're not just keeping up, you're leading the way.
Okay, I think we have time for one more in this section.
All right, let's wrap it up with this one. How do you ensure that your production processes are sustainable and environmentally friendly?
Sustainability, a hot topic these days.
It's not just a trend, it's a responsibility. You want to demonstrate your understanding of sustainable practices and your commitment to minimizing the environmental impact.
So be prepared to dish on those initiatives you've implemented to reduce waste, conserve energy, or source materials responsibly.
Exactly. Have you worked with suppliers who are all about ethical and sustainable practices?
Or maybe you've explored alternative materials or production methods that are gentler on the planet.
It's all about showing them that you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk when it comes to sustainability.
That was a lot of info. Is there anything that can help me make my answers even sharper?
I'm so glad you asked. This is where RoleCatcher's AI swoops in to save the day.
AI, huh? Tell me more.
Imagine having a virtual coach who analyzes the job description,
Okay.
highlights the skills they're really looking for,
Uh-huh.
and then helps you tailor your answers to hit all the right notes.
That's seriously impressive. How does it actually work?
You just upload the job description to their platform, and their AI works its magic. It identifies those keywords and phrases that reveal what the employer truly values.
So it's like having a secret decoder ring for job descriptions.
Exactly. It takes the guesswork out of figuring out what they really want.
That's awesome. So it helps me tailor my CV to each specific job.
You got it. But wait, there's more. Their AI can also analyze your practice videos.
My videos. How does that work?
You record yourself answering practice questions
Mm-hmm.
and then upload those videos to their platform.
What?
And their AI provides feedback on your delivery, content tone, the whole shebang.
Wow. So it's like having a personal interview coach giving me feedback on how I'm coming across.
Exactly. You can see how you're doing and make adjustments to really nail that interview.
I love it. Well, I'm feeling much more prepared now. Thanks for breaking it all down.
Yeah, you got this. And remember, practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
I'm definitely going to use those RoleCatcher AI tools to really hone my presentation.
I'm telling you, it's a game changer.
Well, I'm feeling pumped and ready to tackle those interview questions.
That's the spirit. Let's take a quick break and then we'll dive into the next batch of questions.
Okay, so let's jump back into those interview questions. Ready for some more?
Absolutely. Bring 'em on.
All right. How about this one? What are your salary expectations for this role?
Oh, the dreaded salary question.
It can be a bit tricky, right?
Definitely. You want to make sure you're getting paid what you're worth, but you also don't want to scare them off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about finding that balance.
So how do we strike that perfect balance?
First things first. Do your research.
Research, okay.
Check out websites like Glassdoor or Indeed.
Got it.
They give you a pretty good idea of what similar roles are paying in your area.
That's helpful.
And don't forget to peek at RoleCatcher's Career Guide, too,
Oh, right. They often include salary range insights for different positions.
so you can get a feel for what's reasonable. So it's all about knowing your worth and understanding the market.
Precisely. And when you're talking about your salary expectations, be prepared to back them up.
Back them up, okay?
Think about your experience, your skills, your education, all the things you bring to the table.
Right.
And don't be shy about highlighting your accomplishments.
Like maybe mention specific results I've achieved in past roles.
Exactly. Show them how you've added value.
So it's not just about asking for a certain number, it's about demonstrating why I deserve it.
You got it. It's all about presenting a strong case.
All right, what's the next question they might throw my way?
Okay, this one's a chance to show off your leather knowledge. What is your experience with different leather types and their specific properties?
Oh, I like this one. I can geek out about leather all day long.
So this is where you really get to shine.
Right.
They want to see that you understand the nuances of the material.
It's about more than just knowing how to make a handbag.
Exactly. You need to be able to talk about the different types of leather, like full grain, top grain, split leather, suede, you name it.
Okay, I'm ready.
And don't just list them off. Talk about their unique properties, their strengths, their weaknesses.
Like, for example, full-grain leather is known for its durability and how it develops that beautiful patina over time.
Bingo. Show them you're a leather aficionado.
What kind of follow-up question could they ask about this?
Maybe something like, can you describe a time when you had to choose a specific type of leather for a particular product and why?
So they want to understand my decision-making process.
Exactly. They want to see how you consider factors like cost, durability, aesthetics, all of it.
It's about making those informed choices that align with the product and the brand.
You got it. Now let's move on to a crucial aspect of production. How do you manage quality control throughout the leather goods production process?
Yes, quality control. It's everything in this industry.
Customers are paying top dollar for these goods, so they expect perfection.
And rightfully so. So how do I show them I'm all about quality?
Talk about your experience with implementing those quality control checks at every stage.
Every stage, okay.
From the moment those raw materials arrive to the final product inspection.
No detail too small.
Exactly. And if you have experience with any specific quality management systems like ISO 9001, definitely mention it.
It's about having those systems in place to ensure those high standards.
Absolutely. What do you think they might ask as a follow-up?
Maybe something like, what steps would you take if a batch of products failed to meet quality standards?
Good one. They want to see how you handle those tricky situations.
So it's not just about catching mistakes, but also having a plan to fix them.
Exactly. Show them you can course correct and maintain those high standards.
Okay, what's next?
Let's talk regulations. How do you stay informed about changes in industry regulations related to leather goods manufacturing?
Oh, this is important. The fashion industry is always changing, and regulations can shift quickly.
It's a moving target for sure, so you got to stay on top of it.
So what's the best way to show them I'm on it?
Be ready to talk about the resources you use to stay in the know. Industry publications, government websites, professional organizations, you name it.
Right. And maybe mention webinars or conferences I attend to learn about the latest updates.
Bingo. Show them you're actively seeking out that information.
It's about being proactive and staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly. What do you think a potential follow-up might be?
Maybe they'll ask, can you give an example of a recent industry regulation change and how you adapted to it?
Good one. They want to see that you can put that knowledge into action.
It's about more than just knowing the rules. It's about knowing how to implement them.
You got it.
Oh.
Okay, ready for another one?
All right, now.
Now, this one's interesting. Describe your experience with working with leather artisans and craftsmen.
Oh, this is about that blend of artistry and manufacturing.
It's a unique balance for sure.
So how do I best showcase my experience in this area?
Talk about your ability to communicate effectively with artisans.
Okay.
Understand their unique skills and perspectives, and create a collaborative work environment.
It's about respecting their craft and working together to create something beautiful and functional.
Exactly. And if you've worked with artisans from different backgrounds or with specialized skills, definitely mention that.
What kind of follow-up question might they ask about this?
They could ask something like, how do you handle situations where there are creative differences between your vision for a product and the artisan's approach?
Ah, the clash of creative visions.
It happens. So they want to see how you navigate those potential conflicts.
So it's about finding solutions that respect both the creative vision and the practical considerations.
You got it. Finding that sweet spot between artistry and functionality.
All right, what's next?
Deadlines always a hot topic in production. How do you manage production lead times to meet customer expectations?
Ah, the pressure of deadlines. It's all about organization and efficiency.
They want to see that you can handle those tight deadlines and still deliver top-notch products.
So what's the best way to demonstrate that?
Talk about your experience with production planning and scheduling. Have you used any specific project management methodologies like Agile or Waterfall?
Those are definitely helpful tools.
They are. It's about showing them you have a system in place to manage those complex timelines.
What kind of follow-up question might they ask about deadlines?
Maybe something like, describe a time when you had to expedite production to meet a tight deadline. How did you manage it?
Ah, so they want to hear a success story about how I handled the pressure.
Exactly. Show them how you can adapt, overcome challenges, and still deliver the goods.
I'm ready for another question.
All right, let's shift gears to training. How do you approach training new employees on leather goods production techniques?
Ah, training. I actually really enjoy sharing my knowledge and helping new employees grow.
It's a rewarding part of the job for sure.
So how do I best describe my approach to training?
Think about your preferred methods.
Okay.
Do you like hands-on demonstrations, classroom-style instruction, or a mix of both?
I usually like to combine different methods depending on what we're covering.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And have you developed any specific training materials or programs?
I have. I've actually created some pretty comprehensive training guides and checklists.
Nice. Be sure to mention those details.
It's about showing them that I have a structured and thoughtful approach to training.
Right. And what do you think they might ask as a follow-up?
Maybe something like, what strategies do you use to ensure that new employees are quickly brought up to speed on safety protocols and quality standards?
You nailed it. Safety and quality are paramount, so they want to make sure those are front and center from day one.
Makes sense. What else you got?
Okay, last one for this round. How would you handle a situation where a key piece of production equipment malfunctions, causing a production delay?
Oh, equipment malfunctions. Those are never fun.
It's all about crisis management.
Right. It's not about preventing every problem. It's about having a plan to deal with them when they happen.
So what would you do?
Well, I'd start by assessing the situation, figure out the extent of the damage, and then come up with a plan to get things back on track as quickly as possible.
Okay, good.
I'd also communicate clearly with my team and other stakeholders to keep everyone informed and manage expectations.
That's key.
I've had to deal with equipment malfunctions before, so I'm not afraid to roll up my sleeves and get things moving.
They want to see that you can stay calm under pressure and take decisive action.
Absolutely.
Okay, before we move on to the final round of questions, let's circle back to RoleCatcher's AI tools.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned they can help me fine-tune my answers.
They can. Imagine having a personalized interview coach in your corner.
Sounds amazing. Remind me how it works.
It's super simple. You upload the job description to their platform, and their AI analyzes it like a detective.
The detective, huh?
It picks out those keywords and phrases that tell you exactly what the employer is looking for.
So I can tailor my answers to match their needs perfectly.
Exactly. It's like having a cheat sheet for the interview.
That's awesome. And what about practicing my delivery? Can the AI help with that too?
You bet. You can record yourself answering practice questions and upload the videos to their platform.
Okay.
And their AI will give you feedback on how you're coming across your tone, your pacing, everything.
Wow. It's like having a personal coach giving me real-time feedback.
Exactly.
I
So
like
you
it.
can practice and polish your answers until they shine.
I'm definitely going to spend some time with those AI tools. They sound incredibly helpful.
I'm telling you, they're a game changer.
Oh, I'm feeling even more confident now. Bring on the final round of questions. Okay, I'm ready to tackle these final few questions. Let's make sure I'm totally prepped. What else have you got for me?
All right, let's start with this one. What are some of the biggest challenges facing the leather goods industry today, and how would you address them as a production manager?
Okay, so they want to see that I'm not just thinking about the day-to-day stuff,
Right, exactly.
but also the bigger picture, like those long-term trends and challenges.
Exactly. They want to see you're a strategic thinker.
So I'll need to be ready to talk about things like sustainability,
Yeah, that's a big one.
rising costs of materials,
For sure.
the growing demand for personalized products,
Absolutely.
and how technology is impacting the whole manufacturing process.
Bingo. You hit all the key points.
But it's not enough to just list those challenges.
You're right. You need to connect the dots back to the role.
Got it.
How would these challenges specifically impact you as a production manager?
And even more importantly, what steps would I take to address them?
Exactly. That's what they want to hear.
So if I'm concerned about the environmental impact of leather production, I might talk about exploring more sustainable materials
Yeah.
or implementing processes that minimize waste.
Perfect. Show them you're not just aware of the challenges, you're actively thinking about solutions.
Okay, I like that. What kind of follow-up question could they ask about this?
They might dig a little deeper and ask something like, can you give an example of a time when you had to adapt your production processes to address a changing industry trend?
Okay, so they want to hear a story about how I've successfully adapted in the past.
Exactly. Maybe a time when you implemented a change that boosted efficiency or reduced waste.
Or maybe even addressed a specific market demand.
Exactly. Show them you can navigate those industry shifts.
Okay, I've got a few good examples in mind. All right, what's next?
Okay, let's talk crisis management. How would you handle a situation where a key piece of production equipment malfunctions, causing a production delay?
Ugh, equipment malfunctions. Every production manager's nightmare.
It happens, but they want to see that you can think on your feet and stay calm under pressure.
So it's about more than just preventing problems.
Right.
It's about having a plan to address them quickly and efficiently when they occur.
Absolutely. So what's your game plan?
Well, first, I'd assess the situation, figure out what's broken and how bad it is.
Okay.
Then I'd implement my contingency plan, which I always have ready to go.
You're one step ahead.
And, of course, I'd communicate clearly with my team and any other stakeholders.
Communication is key in those situations.
Absolutely. Got to keep everyone informed and manage those expectations.
Right. Show them you can handle those hiccups without letting them derail the whole operation.
Okay, so what kind of follow-up question could they ask about this?
They might ask for a specific example like, can you describe a time when you successfully resolved a major production disruption? What steps did you take?
So another chance to showcase my problem-solving skills and leadership in action.
Exactly. Share a story that highlights your ability to stay calm and focused under pressure.
Right. I've got a few good stories up my sleeve.
Right.
Okay, hit me with the next one.
Okay, this one explores your openness to innovation. How would you implement a new technology, like 3D printing or laser cutting, into the leather goods production process?
Oh, wow. I've been reading a lot about how 3D printing and laser cutting are changing the game in fashion and manufacturing.
It's pretty mind-blowing, right?
Totally. Imagine the possibilities.
They want to see that you're excited about those possibilities and how you'd integrate new tech into your workflow.
So I'll need to do some research on those specific technologies and how they apply to the leather goods industry.
Exactly. Think about the benefits, the challenges, the whole 9 yards.
And be ready to explain how I'd evaluate a new technology and develop a plan for implementing it.
And don't forget about training your team.
Right. They need to be comfortable using the new tech, too.
Exactly. Show them you're thinking about the whole process.
Okay, what kind of follow-up question could they ask about this?
They might get into the nitty-gritty of ROI. What are some of the factors you would consider when evaluating the return on investment for a new technology investment?
Ah, so they want to see that I'm not just a tech enthusiast, I'm also thinking about the financial implications.
Exactly. You need to make those data-driven decisions.
Okay, I can do that. All right, what's the last question? I'm ready to wrap this up.
Last but not least, how would you foster a culture of continuous improvement within your production team?
Continuous improvement. That's something I'm really passionate about.
Yeah. It's all about creating that environment where everyone is striving for excellence.
And always looking for ways to do things better.
Exactly. So how would you foster that culture?
Well, I believe in open communication and collaboration.
That's a great foundation.
I also like to implement process improvements
Love it.
and encourage employee feedback.
That's so important.
And I've had some success using methodologies like Lean and Kaizen to drive continuous improvement.
Those are great frameworks. Be sure to mention those and highlight the positive results you've achieved.
It's about showing them that I'm not just a manager, I'm a leader who empowers my team to reach their full potential.
That's what they want to hear.
Okay, what kind of follow-up question could they ask about this?
They might ask for a concrete example like, can you give an example of a time when you successfully implemented a process improvement initiative that led to tangible results?
Another opportunity to share a success story.
Exactly. Highlight those leadership skills and your ability to drive positive change.
Wow, I've learned so much from this deep dive. I feel incredibly prepared to nail this interview.
I'm glad to hear that. Preparation is key, and you've put in the work.
And I'm definitely going to spend some time with those RoleCatcher AI tools to make sure my answers are top-notch.
I highly recommend it. They can really give you that extra edge.
Well, I'm feeling confident and excited to ace this interview. Thanks for all your guidance.
You got this. Just remember to showcase your passion, your experience, and your ability to lead a team to success.
I will. And to everyone listening, remember that the leather goods industry is constantly evolving. So never stop learning and never stop growing.